The other day, we were at the grocery store at Publix, and this guy, he came up to us and he was like, man, the bird flu crazy, ain't it? And I was thinking, like, well, hold up, what you know about that? But I said, oh, he's talking about the actual bird flu, because we were in the egg section and there was hardly any eggs there. I was like, oh, okay, it was one of them moments. But anyway, Bleacher Report. Now, we do work together. We work very closely, and we work each and every week because we stream on Bleacher Report every single Wednesday. Shameless plug there, but I gotta give y'all a little pushback on this one, because I know y'all be saying some outlandish, wild type of things, but this one right here, I don't know, my friends, because Bleacher Report, they proposed a trade for the Baltimore Ravens to get something that we've been wanting and missing for a very long time, but we would have to also give up someone of great significance to the Baltimore Ravens. Team Keep It Clean, we about to get into it. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn them notifications on so you never miss anything that's going on with our Baltimore Ravens. Leave a like on the video because it also helps out a ton. I love y'all. I don't really love this trade though. Anyway, it said Micah Parsons. So the Baltimore Ravens will be acquiring Micah Parsons. We love Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is a baller. Micah Parsons is a defensive lineman, a playmaker, somebody that you can line up anywhere on that front four. You can move him around. You can do so much stuff with Micah Parsons. He is crazy. But what would the Baltimore Ravens have to give up in this trade proposal? It says the Ravens would get edge guy Micah Parsons. Okay, I like that. It sounds good. The Cowboys would get a 2025 first round pick. Okay, cool. That'd be easy. That'd be easy money trade, right? Oh, take it. They would also get Kyle Van. That would be tough, but I would still say, okay, a 2025 first round pick and Kyle Van. Okay, you get super duper Kyle 2.0. I understand. You gotta, in order to get something nice, you gotta give up. So, okay, cool. I can live with that. And also say wide receiver Zay Flowers. So, whoa, that one I was like, whoa, hold up now, because you trying to get rid of Florida Ravens. Like, how would y'all feel about that trade? Just before we even get into the article and see what Bleacher Report said, how would y'all feel about if the Ravens were to get Micah Parsons, but they would have to give up the 2025 first round pick, Kyle Van, and Zay Flowers? How would y'all feel about that one? Because the Zay Flowers part, I was like, oh, man, Kyle Van, he's been a great Raven, too. Been a great teammate and whatnot. Been a leader and whatnot, but it's like, oof. That's Zay Flowers. That was a kicker right there for me. Anyway, the article said, don't freak out, Dallas fans. What about us? What about Ravens fans too? Anyway, it says, don't freak out, Dallas fans. These are hypothetical trades that exist in the world of fantasy. You're not losing Doncic. And, that was a tough one right there. Luka, he lost that boy. That was tough. Anyway, I say you're not losing Luka and Micah Parsons in the same year, probably. However, the Dallas Cowboys do have a difficult decision to make on their star pass rusher. He's been extension eligible since last offseason and has a very real chance to become the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So the Cowboys waited to pay Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb until late last offseason, and it cost them in the meantime. Players like Jefferson and Trevor Lawrence signed new top-of-the-market deals. Dallas doesn't seem to be rushing to extend Micah Parsons. I don't want to get into the details of late, when all that comes. Too early for any of that, but obviously Micah is an important part of what we're about, Executive Vice President Stephen Jones recently said per Yahoo Sports. The reality is that Parsons could become a trade candidate, especially if Dallas decides it can't afford to build out a roster with him, Prescott, and CeeDee Lamb on high-level contracts. Hey, so that is a real possibility. And another thing, too, even though it's not likely, when you get a new head coach, because Mike McCarthy is out, I think their new head coach is their previous offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, I believe. But when you get a new head coach, they might be like, I want that guy. But they ain't going to do that with Micah Parsons because he's a baller. Anyway, it says, in this deal, the Cowboys flip Parsons for Baltimore Ravens receivers Zay Flowers, pass rusher Kyle Van, and the 27th overall pick in the draft. Oh, should have been 32. It says Flowers, who tallied 1,059 receiving yards in 2024, would give Dallas the high-end number 2 receiver it currently lacks opposite Lamb. Van would serve as a short-term replacement for Parsons, while the draft selection would help the Cowboys reload with another rookie contract. Yeah, it would. They will be giving up a great player in Micah Parsons. But they will be getting some really good ones in return. And a first-round pick, too. But still. Anyway, continuing. That's such a tough one. Anyway, he said the Ravens would be giving up a quality receiver on a rookie deal. Yeah, they sure would be. But pass catchers are easy to find are easier to find than all pro caliber pass rushers. Oof. Are they for the Ravens? I see what they're saying, because when you think about the top receivers in this league, and even the top 10, top 15 receivers in this league, then you think of the top 10 pass rushers. I feel like it's so much easier to come up with a receiver list than it is for the top pass rushers list, in my opinion. I know some of y'all be able to come up with a list better than me, but still. Anyway, he said the Ravens will be giving up a quality receiver on a rookie deal, but pass catchers are easier to find than all pro caliber pass rushers, and Baltimore could afford to get younger on the edge. I mean, we still got Odafe Away too. Still got David Ojabo. Now, what I would prefer, it would be if they flipped out, but then I know the value would sort of decrease, because if they flipped out Kyle Van Noy for David Ojabo in this trade package, and with Zay Flowers, if they flipped him out with anybody else too. Because I'm like, well, not anybody else, but because like, man, that's Zay, man. Anyway, it said Vanoy led Baltimore with 12.5 sacks in 2024, but he'll turn 34 in March. Parsons, who has recorded 52.5 sacks in 63 regular season games, would be an upgrade over Vanoy and would give the Ravens a much-needed long-term defensive building block. That's true. Now, this next part is the part where I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like it. It says, Baltimore has proven that it can field a functional offense without top receiving talent as long as quarterback Lamar Jackson is healthy. That's true. But see, that's one of the biggest reasons why I would not want to take away Zay. Because it's like, hold up, like, this is the Ravens' first Pro Bowl wide receiver in history. And Zay Flowers, he nice. He nice. And then you got Rashad Bateman too. Like, what? Instead of taking away, why don't we add to that? I don't want to take away from that. And what they're saying is true, but still, like, let's get to where we like, hey, 41-4. Ooh, that's crazy. Let's expand on that. Let's take it a little bit further. Let's take it up a notch. Why not? Why bring it down by removing Zay Flowers from the equation? Anyway, it says, however, its 30th ranked pass defense was an issue last season. Adding Parsons would help address that issue for the foreseeable future, assuming Baltimore can work out the extension that Dallas should have done a year ago. Now, that part is true. Ravens, their pass defense last year, especially them first 10 weeks, it was rough. After week 11, week 11 and on, they were fine, but an elite pass rusher could have made them even better in so many different ways. And that's where Baltimore Ravens just really struggled at, in my opinion. But it's weird too, because they had the numbers, they had the stats, they had a bunch of sacks and stuff, but I just feel like their pass rush was just so wonky, so up and down, so inconsistent. Having an elite guy on the edge, that would be a great thing. But giving up all that for Micah Parsons, I don't know about all that. I reached my favorite part of these videos, where we get to feature your questions. If you'd like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send your question in a DM directly on Patreon. And if you'd like to join the patrons, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids. Now, let's get into these first questions that came from my guy, John. He said, Ingraven, this has been a heck of an interesting 2024-2025 season. Forgive me, I have a few questions. No, you ain't got to ask for no forgiveness, man. Ask away. He said, what would be the odds of the Ravens winning 3 back-to-back AFC North titles? Since 2002, there was no team that won 3 back-to-back AFC North titles. I don't think that's far-fetched, and I don't even think that would be a hot take for the Ravens to win the AFC North yet again. The Steelers are going through whatever they're going through with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. We'll see what happens with that. The Browns, they just a mess. Deshaun Watson might not even play. Myles Garrett trying to get on up out of there. So we'll see what happens with that. Bengals, they're going to be tough. Joe Burrow, nice. Jamar Chase, he going to get paid. T. Higgins, we'll see if he leaves or not. But, so Ravens, they got a big chance to do it again. And again, I don't think it's far-fetched for them to win the AFC North again. He said, any potential trades for this offseason for a 1 or 2 round pick for players like Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely? Somebody trading a 1st or 2nd round pick for either one of those guys. I don't think so. I don't think so. I want them to keep them both around. I would love if they kept both of them around, but Ravens do have some decisions to make, and normally they like making those decisions early rather than waiting. He said, would you recommend Ben Johnson to be our head coach? Well, That ain't happening. But anyway, he said, though the divisional round loss wasn't on John Harbaugh, I feel we need change within the Ravens organization. That would have been something, man. Because Ben Johnson, as an offensive coordinator for the Lions, he did his thing, man. Those offenses were fire. They were electric. And they, made a lot of different people playmakers. But we got Todd Monken. And Todd Monken's been doing a good job of doing exactly that as well. He has had one of the top offenses the past 2 years. So that's been a beautiful thing. Next question came from my guy, Michael. He said, hello to all my Team Keep It Clean family and friends, and to you and your family, Mr. Ingraven. Hope you and the family are doing well, and many blessings to all this 2025. Now, let's get to the questions of all the teams that have had coaches plucked from them to go on to other things with other teams. Why is Kansas City being left untouched if their DC is that good and has that many Super Bowl rings? Why has no team ever approached him about a head coaching job? They did this for the enemy, but they passed on him. Your thoughts, and like the Buffalo Bills shortly. I'm out. Yeah, I'm glad that they ended up losing. That's such a crazy question. I don't know. Steve Spagnuolo, who you talking about? I don't know. I have no answer to that question. It's the craziest thing. It's weird though, right? It's weird because you'll have teams like the Ravens who get their whole coaching staff taken away from them. But the Ravens, they a regular season successful team. Playoffs, no, not enough because they keep falling short. But the Chiefs, who in the Super Bowl like every year, in the AFC Championship every year, ain't nobody touching their coaches. Ain't nobody touching Steve Spagnuolo, their defensive. How could Steve Spagnuolo, such a successful defensive coordinator, not get a head coach? I don't know about that one. Under the radar. Next question came from my guy, Marc. He said, what's up, Ingraven? What's up, Marc? He said, I hope all is well as always. I don't know if you peeped the new hire, but we hired Tyler Santucci as our linebackers coach. This is an under-the-radar signing. He had helped lead Georgia Tech to the successful season. Georgia Tech had at least 3 upsets and took Georgia to the 8 overtimes. I bring these things up because in those upsets, I consider them big games. Miami and Florida State off the top of my head. And in big games, they force what? Turnovers when they mattered most. I think he can bring out a lot of players like Trenton Simpson and Malik Harrison, which I think will resign. Maybe he'll actually put Trenton at edge or outside linebacker. This could also influence a linebacker pick in the draft or free agent signing or even maybe a trade. He gives me Mike McDonald-like vibes because he's aggressive and he's 36 years of age. I like hearing that. I like to hear that because y'all know I don't watch college, so I ain't know much about him at all. So that's good to hear. Turnovers are a great thing. Especially turnovers in big games, especially when you really you force your bigger opponents, more tougher opponents to turn that ball over. They certainly do that to you. But anyway, he said, speaking of linebackers, who do you want, Crosby or Garrett? Who's more realistic? Hey, if Sauce want to float over all the way, I wouldn't be mad, LOL. I would rather Crosby, and I think Crosby is more realistic, but both of them, it's a small chance for both of them. And the only reason that Crosby will be more realistic is because he's not in our division. You also said real quick, I wanted to piggyback off your video a couple days ago about difficult decisions. I really think we can keep Likely and Andrews, bro. That third option you said I've been down for. I'd let the other receivers walk in order for Likely to be our third option. Him and Lamar got it like that. That's also hard to say as well because I don't know if you remember, but that catch Anthony Miller had in the divisional game, he has so much energy afterwards, and that's the type of stuff we need. Oh, well, I mean, they brought back Anthony Miller for next year to a future reserve deal, so we'll see what happens with that. But Likely, I would love for Likely to stay around long term. I would love it because, yeah, like you said, him and Lamar, they do got it. That connection is real, man, and it's been real since last year. And I just hate, and I get it. You can't keep everybody. You got to move on from some people and whatnot. But I would hate for them to break up something that's just so strong, so powerful. Yeah, it did fail in the playoffs because Mark Andrews had a fumble and a drop, but he's made a lot of plays for the Ravens over the years, man. Even this past season too. Even after that slow start, man, and Ravens have finally found a way to get both him and Likely involved in the same game at the same time. So it's been a beautiful thing to see. I just want to see them take that to another level, and that would be beautiful. He said, I won't keep you engraving. Just thank you for your positivity and for your channel. Have a good one and stay positive. And just like Myles, Garrett, I'm out. Next question came from my guy, Addison. He said, hey, Ingraven, hope you and the family are good. Appreciate it, Addison. He said, just wondering if I could get a question featured in the video anytime. This question being, if the Ravens were to move on from Justin Tucker, how would you feel about them bringing in Donald De La Haye, destroying Rodrigo Blankenship, Adam Bakken, etc.? Thanks for everything, and as always, and always keeping the flock Nation updated and have a good one. Hey, appreciate you, Addison. Destroying. Is his neck? I know he broke his neck. Like, was that last year? I think it was last year. So I don't know how he's doing. I know he got his podcast and whatnot, but he'd be locked in with like everybody from NFL. They know him a lot. I don't think they will bring him in. The only way I could see them bringing him in is if they just brought him in for like a tryout or something like that. I wouldn't see them like seriously considering him. But hey, you could like turn over every stone. You could check everybody out who will be available. You said Rodrigo Blankenship. Yeah, he was another one that was available. That's the one with the glasses who used to kick for the Colts, I believe. Again, tryouts. Yeah, you can bring in people in for tryouts, but there's also the draft. Because if you see a kicker who's fit for the part, if you do end up moving on, I think that they will, but we'll see. I think that they will. I think that they will. And again, I know it's allegations, so it's their word against his word and whatnot. But I think the Ravens are going to move on. Because what would happen? Would you try them out there next year if you're the Ravens? Yeah, I know it's just allegations right now, but still, anyway, we'll see. But the draft, there's a draft. That's what I would consider the draft, because the kicker would be even cheaper than these guys, and if you can get somebody that got a good foot on them and got some good accuracy too, why not draft them so you have him around for even longer? Next question came from my guy John. He said, one question, how likely is it for the Ravens to go all out on a pass rusher this year and try to land a guy like Myles Garrett? Thanks for everything you do. No, thank you, John. I appreciate you. All out is very unlikely because that's not the Ravens style. While an excellent pass rusher will be great, it would change a lot in a good way for this Baltimore Ravens team. They're not a team that really goes all out like that. So we'll see. But I would love for it to happen, but I just don't see them going that route. Next question came from my guy Anthony. He said, what's up, Ingraven? Hope you and the family are good. We lost, and we got to move on. Short and quick, do you think the Ravens extend Marlon Humphrey? I love Marlo and really hope that they do. But what do you think? God bless and trust. That's a great question. I think that they should. I think that you should keep Marlon Humphrey around. We know he gives a lot of takes that a lot of people don't like. He says a lot of stuff that rub people the wrong way. But on that football field, Marlon Humphrey, he's a baller. That boy can play. And like I've said before, countless amount of times, like Marlon Humphrey, even when he finally does start slowing down as a cornerback, that transition to safety is going to be smooth, seamless. It's going to be beautiful. So if it were up to me, I would certainly keep Marlon Humphrey around because he's like that. And then you saw him take another step as a leader this year, too. He was speaking up for the coaches, for what was going on in the locker room. And initially, I didn't believe him. When he was talking about, that's when everything was going on in the first 10 weeks of the season, he was like, no, it's on the players. It's not on the coaching. It's on the players. It's on us. For those guys, for players that don't really want to give effort, if they don't want to play, they're going to find themselves on the bench. And I thought he was just trying to hype up the guy, trying to hype up his coaching staff, But he was for real because we saw everything that he talked about. We saw it happen. So I would definitely want to keep Marlon around for the long-term future.